Hello guys and welcome to Rage Against the Dice. Today, following a series of interviews that I've done with a few independent games designers, I spoke to Joe from Lucid Publications, and they do Savage Core, and they're currently doing the Elf King, and they do a number of other games, which I didn't even know about, so it was quite an eventful Skype call. So here's the interview in its entirety. Once again, I managed not to swear, so that was pretty good. And on this one, I didn't have any children coming and asking me for food, which was nice. I didn't put him in a cage or anything like that. It's okay. He was just off with his mother. But no, guys, check it out. Joe's a really cool guy. I'm really interested in seeing what's coming up with one of their other games. Not that I don't like the other games, but this one really interesting to me. All I'm going to say is Dapper Monkey. So yeah, guys, check it out. Perfect. So we're good to go. So I'm here today with Joe from Lucid Publications. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
What is it with regards to Lucid that you do? Because I know there's more than one of you who works with regards to it from speaking to Carl.
Sure.
Do you want to just give me a little bit about you and a bit about the company?
Yeah, of course I can. So basically, my dad does all the miniatures for Lucid Publications, and essentially what I do is I basically do the legwork, everything else that comes with, the business sort of aspects of things.
Yeah.
So, at the moment it's covering a lot of bases and it's doing a lot of things, but, the main purpose I sort of serve essentially is, just keeping things going smoothly and just, talking to my dad, and we just discuss what we want to do and what direction we want to take things in. So, really, he's the studio, I just do everything else essentially, but there is crossover naturally as there is with all sort of projects and everything. So that sort of summarises in the grand sense. Lucid was started sort of on the back of the Savage Core range, which my dad initially sculpted. When I was in college, I looked to do some rules, and I was always a fan of writing and whatnot,
Yeah.
and the hobbies as a whole, and a lot of creative things in that sense. So I wanted to do that. So we had a chat. It was done, and it was published, and we just went from there. And it's been a hectic 5 or so months now. We've only really been around that long, I believe, but it's putting a foot down on the accelerator and just making sure everything runs smoothly from this point onwards, really.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I first found out about you guys, as I've said when we've spoken previously, through 7TV.
Yeah.
I've got a massive obsession with kind of the era that Savage Core is set in, kind of centre of the earth, simians, that kind of thing. Dinosaurs are like my obsession.
Sure.
And I saw the simians and I was like, these will work perfect for the new style of Planet of the Apes. And I thought, I'll go with them. And then it was just through, I went to get the boss, and they didn't have it on the site, and Carl was really cool.
Was it Thinking Brow?
The boss with the spear, the one that looks very much like Caesar.
Thinking Brow.
Yeah, that's the one. And I love that model, and I asked Carl, and he said, I don't know when we'll get it in again, but you can get it direct, and he gave me the website link. And I went from there, and I was like, oh, a whole game based around it. And as I do with everything, copy, paste, YouTube, and kind of went from there. I found a few guys doing a few videos from it,
Awesome.
and that's why I was like, I need to contact you guys direct, because we cover mainly indie games.
Sure.
Games Workshop is well covered on YouTube. It doesn't need our our adverts. Whereas, guys who are making really cool little games that don't get that kind of exposure, that's where we like to fit in.
Yeah, sure.
And Savage Core fits perfectly in with that. Obviously, we were talking before we started filming this, because you announced quite recently on Facebook that kind of there's some new stuff coming, and then there's going to be a 2.0, which is, I believe you said, kind of a compilation of everything.
Yeah,
in
so
one
essentially,
big lump.
this will be a while off now, but we'd like to keep people updated, given we're looking to launch, an expansion range of miniatures for Savage Core called Savage Core Night. This is sort of, when the core shuts off of it, as it does essentially after the Ice Age. So there's a little narrative timeline in it, really. What we like to do is keep people informed in that regard, so we don't, bring out an expansion of minis and everyone goes, where's the Ice Age stuff? Have you forgotten about the rule set? So what we're looking to do is do the Age of, we've sort of, once we've run through the Age of Our stuff, run through the Savage Core Night stuff, comprise it then, or just, comprise the expansions, as it were, with the base game. But this won't be for, in the foreseeable future, essentially, but there's no... We like to get through the miniatures line before we provide game systems for them, essentially.
Of course. No, I mean, and this is the reason that I brought it up originally, was because I noticed when you posted it, there was people asking on Facebook whether it was kind of coming soon, and it's just to put people at ease who have only recently or are about to purchase the Savage Core Guide, which is the main rulebook. It's not going to be redundant in a week. Sort of like when Games Workshop did their 8th edition stuff with 40k, like 3 weeks earlier, books was kind of non-existent anymore. That's not going to happen here.
No, not at all. So essentially what it would be comprising the expansions and whatnot. So the main game is very much the main game, and you won't see that being tampered with in a long time, if it ever is. Of course. So yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say that's one thing that I really like is, and I haven't got my hands on the rule book yet because, as we were saying before, I'm forbidden from buying anything new till I paint what I've got, because I'm terrible for it, and I have like a bookshelf of shame, as it's known, which is just models where I'll see an indie company and I'm like, oh, I really like the look of their models, and I'll just buy the whole range, and then it sits there forever. So, but I'm definitely, we're going to cover this in a lot of detail because it fits in with stuff that I love so much, and my son's also really into dinosaurs as well, so there's a whole other aspect to it that kind of draws him in, which gives me an excuse to play it without my missus telling me off, really.
Well, if there's anything we can help you with in the meantime, be sure to let us know, and we'll make sure that's sorted as well.
That's certainly cool. But I mean, the rulebook itself it's dirt cheap for a rulebook sort of this size. It's like £12, I believe, if you're buying it in the UK.
£12 rulebook. It's the rulebooks, from a sales perspective, any rulebook isn't really the main thrust. It sort of complements the set of miniatures, I mean that purely from like a retail pricing point.
Yes.
So, we didn't need to charge an awful great amount for the book, given that, from a sales point, your miniatures form your bread and butter sales for the range.
Oh, no, definitely. I mean, there was one thing, and I covered it because I've done a few unboxing videos and things like that on your the Simians. And that was one of the things I covered in there, was just how pristine the models were for a small company. We buy a lot. We buy like from Hassle Free, Black Cat, Bases, a few others, and we get lots of little varying bits that interest us or that we think will fit into a certain game. And there's always a load of flash and a load of cleanup time. And the Simians were virtually good to go if it wasn't for the fact I'm really pedantic and have to put them on decorative bases, as you've seen.
I saw that. I like the rock slate basing. It looked good.
I mean, it was so simple, but I think it gives them a bit of stature because they're very realistic sized compared to sort of the humans and things like that. So it just, for other games, it gives them just a bit of stature. But they definitely don't need it. They're such nice sculpts. And we're looking at the Amazons next because they're so different in terms of the visual appearance.
Definitely. I mean that's great. The Simians, I mean, in relation to scale and stuff, that's pretty much what my dad was going for when he did it. I guess the castings themselves, they're very crisp. They look great, so we're happy with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, did your dad work for other companies previously, or was it kind of like a hobby sculpting?
Sorry, go on, Kev.
No, I was going to say, because a lot of the smaller indie companies are either people who are just starting out or people who've kind of done freelance for other companies. So it was something that obviously a lot of people want to know, because if they see a sculpt from a new company and then they can go, oh, you worked for X company previously, so it puts a lot of people's mind at ease, I guess, with the quality of it.
So My dad's got. If you have 28mm miniatures, there's like you likely have some of my dad's work. He worked for Workshop, Foundry, Warlord, and North Star prior. So obviously he's doing this now at Lucid. But yeah, he's got a huge backlog and inventory behind him. If you have some of Workshop stuff or whatnot, some of Foundry's, the likelihood is you have some of his sculpts.
If he's done anything for the Old West for Foundry, I definitely will have some of his sculpts.
He did some of the older stuff. I'm not sure it was the
yeah.
newest.
I've got stuff going back to about 2000-ish. 2002 maybe.
Yeah, I think it was there in the 2000s. I'm not completely sure, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he has an inventory behind him, so naturally, if you have 28mm, the likelihood is
you've picked something up.
Yeah.
I mean, just having Warlord on your resume, their models are beautiful. So I think that would stand anybody in good stead, saying, I worked on models for Warlord games. But no, I mean, these are really nice sculpts, and like you said, it is your main bread and butter of it. I'm just looking at the moment, because you've got where you enter the Savage Core on your website, and then you've got the Corlocks, the Simians, the Amazons, the Neanderthals, Cro-Magnums, Jaguar Tribe, and then the ID, the Atlanteans.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
There's so much on there already for what you said is, 6 months at the most?
Yeah, we're quite prolific in that sense in relation to the fact we release about 6 codes a month, I believe. 6 products a month. So, yeah, I mean, we don't hold anything back.
Yes.
Even from a marketing perspective, we just release it because, the products can carry themselves, so there's no need to, thrust it down people's throats as such. So that's sort of our stance on it. Yeah, we just, get stuff done and we get it out. And, it's all what I believe fantastic products. So, yeah, that's sort of our ethos behind it.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment I can see a lot on your sort of Facebook and on the website and stuff. The Red Book of the Elf King seems to be... I know a lot of miniatures are coming out for that at the moment. Is that kind of your big push at the minute?
Yeah, well, we're working with Rick Priestley, who's written the game for the Elf King's written the game system.
Of course.
And so we've got a lot of investment, as it were, to get everything out for the project, because we're going to do sort of a pre-release system for the Red Book of the Elf King. So naturally we'll see a lot of the designs, the sculpts coming through for that, and some more artwork coming out and whatnot, more information to be revealed soon. But yeah, we've got a lot of time investment in Elf King at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Rick Priestley, just his name alone speaks for itself in terms of this industry, so that's obviously a really good thing to have. Have you had any work on the... because you said obviously you did the rules for Savage Core. Have you had any input on these rules, or is it solely sort of Rick Priestley's baby, as it were?
Well, the Red Book of the Elf King is sort of, we proposed to Rick to write the system for it. We already had a system for the game, but we gave it to Rick essentially, and we worked with him in sort of coining a new system. So Rick's written the game system. The IP itself, the Red Book of the Elf King, is very much Lucid eyes. So yeah, Rick's worked on the rules and he's done an absolutely phenomenal job. They're great, and I'm very much looking forward to them getting released.
Nice. Are you guys at Salute this year?
Not personally, no. We aren't at Salute. I believe if anyone's looking for Lucid Eye at Salute this year, the best place to look for it is Insty Castings. He'll be carrying the inventory. Right,
so people can pick it up.
Sure.
It's just you guys won't be there personally.
Yeah, I think it's important. Yeah, it's important to know Instant Castings will be there. www.instantcastings.co.uk, I believe, who will be carrying the entire Lucid Eye range.
Perfect. I will make sure there are links in the description of this video as well, so that people can obviously check it out. So, are you guys working a lot with other companies in the industry? Obviously, I know, as I said, I found your stuff through 7TV. You sell direct from the website. Are you on a number of other websites as things stand?
Yeah, well, we work with a number of retailers and bricks and mortar stores currently to deliver products straight to the customers. So we have a variety. We're working with a variety of people, namely retailers, not so much other manufacturers, given we create our own product in house. So yeah, naturally, as a manufacturer, you work with a number of retailers to supply your product. So that's sort of what we're doing. That's not to say we don't work with people. That's just to say, as a manufacturer, because we do stuff in house, we work with retailers in that regard.
I mean, that's really important. Like, obviously, because you guys can keep it in house, you can obviously keep your quality to. You can keep an eye on it as such.
Yeah, definitely. I think quality control is a massive facet in relation to what we're doing. We want to keep everything top notch. We want to keep every product as as good as it possibly can. And we won't release anything that is subpar. So there is a number of things. I'm looking to my left now. That's on my dad's work desk, which is never going to get released.
Yeah, of course.
Which is a big time investment. Is obviously frustrating, but these things happen, and we're not going to release subpar product.
No. I mean, one of the things I've said it a number of times when we've talked about certain other companies, and I won't sort of name drop, especially with it being in a derogatory manner, but there's a number of companies that we've dealt with in the past where I've gone to do unboxing videos for their products. And because I don't like to open it beforehand and check it, I think it kind of ruins the unboxing experience. Yeah. I think when you do an unboxing video, it should all be very genuine and not like I've pre-planned this excitement.
Sure.
And it's really, really embarrassing when you're unboxing something and you're like, oh, this is mismolded or is missing a limb, or you're like, oh, okay. And that's obviously something that you guys can control. As you've said, you've got a stack of stuff there that you're never ever going to send out to anyone because it just doesn't make the grade.
Designs, the sculpts that are not going to send out.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that hasn't even gone through the mold or been put into production.
So at your sort of sculpting stage.
Yeah. It's never left the sculpting stage, nor will it ever. But yeah, naturally, we try and keep quality control on products. Naturally there is always going to be something which slips through the net, I suppose, and in the defence of those companies, I guess that's happened. But obviously it's good to try and keep an eye on it as much as possible. No,
of course, and obviously as your company grows, you're going to find that maybe more slips through the net, or you have to take in more staff.
Sure.
And I guess it's that balancing act.
As production increases, naturally, the more things that I suppose, in relation to the law of averages.
Of course.
But obviously it's good to try and keep a lid on what you can and make sure, and we do, to keep a control on that.
Yeah. So you guys have Savage Core, you have the Elf King, and there's other products listed on the website. Are they all stuff you've designed?
We won't. Yeah, everything on the website is Lucid Publications.
Yes.
With the exception of, it's important to note, I guess, the Annie from, I believe it's Cozy Dice did. I'm just going to double check actually.
Yeah, no problem.
I believe it's Cozy Dice. Yeah, it is Cozy Dice. I just wanted to double check because I didn't want to, name her business wrong. Annie manufactured our bags for the Elf, the Red Book of the Elf King. She's fantastic. So I think that's important to note. But apart from that, yes, it is Lucid Publications products. We do, we're a manufacturer. We do everything in house.
Perfect. And as you said, at the minute it's your father the sculpting. You kind of do everything else. Are you getting to the stage where you're going to need more sculptors or things like that, or is it all still manageable at this stage?
It's manageable to the point that we can, with one sculptor, still release like 6 products a month. So
yeah,
I think the outsourcing as such comes more from, as things increase and you grow, a more administration angle and distribution angle rather than the product, because we're sort of ahead in relation to products. So,
yeah. So you might need some minions, but as in relation to your dad, he's good to go at this stage.
Yeah, we're not, there's no need to, just jack up product and sculpting, because, then you have less quality control, then you're dealing with other people when you don't necessarily need to currently. So yeah, it's good to keep a lid on it for as long as you can.
Of course.
I would say. and then work as things progress.
I mean, one thing we were discussing yesterday, and this is something I'm obviously going to bring up to you,
Sure.
is we were obviously following around the 7TV stuff. Somebody released a model, and we were looking at it, and we were like, oh, such and such price for a single model. That seems steep. And then we realised it doesn't. It's just that we've been buying from, like, obviously your guys, your model's like a single model's like really cheap. It's like £4.50 for one of the character ones, for the Simian specifically, and was £7.50 for 4, which is really, really reasonable.
That's for the Simians. It's £4.50. They're very small. The Elf King stuff is more expensive, given it's 28 heroic scale, and they're fantasy figures which take a lot longer to produce. So we do have price differentiations. In relation to the time investment of production. But the Savage Core, base range stuff is very affordable, and the entry point's very low.
It is, and I guess if you took on more staff, that would increase inevitably, I would assume. Or would that still stay kind of the same price because they're already sculpted and?
No, the price points will, naturally as things go on and time goes on and what happens, things happen in relation to design and whatnot vary. But when we price something and release it, we will keep it that price. We won't, reduce the price nor raise the price. We pick a price point and we stand by a price point.
Yes. Well, as I said, in terms of just the stuff that we've got and the stuff we're looking at, we do definitely think it's obviously of a very, very reasonable thing, very reasonable price structure. And that's what we were saying. We're kind of getting spoiled because we're getting stuff from you guys, and we've been getting stuff from 7TV and a few of the other little places, or from Crooked Dice, sorry. And we so then when somebody was putting like a model up at a certain price, we were thinking that's really expensive, and it's not. It's just we've been dealing with these companies who, like yourselves, have got a very, very good entry point into their games. And that's
the Savage Core entry point is very reasonable, and you only need a boss and a couple packs of bots to play. That was sort of the idea behind the game. It was keeping it low in an entry point. It was keeping it minimalistic in relation to the figures and the play style. So we sort of built it as a system from that upwards.
Yeah, we've talked obviously a lot about the models, and I talk about them mainly because I really, really love the look of said models. As we've discussed before, it's not like a sort of blowing smoke up you because you're on thing. Like the very first sort of conversation stuff we had was how much I like the sculpts. But I want to sort of go, because the rule set's really good from the videos I've seen, and I've watched, obviously you guys did 2 playthroughs of it, or is it one and then was re-uploaded?
There was definitely one. Maybe it might have been Heresy Productions who did another one.
That was the other one. Yes, it was. It was Heresy.
Paul McLaughlin did another one, yeah.
But like those videos, they're really good at sort of conveying over the rules, but also they've got some kind of unique features. So I definitely would be remiss if we didn't sort of talk about the rules itself as much as the models are your bread and butter, and they're beautiful. And I think everybody who's interested in picking up cool looking models should go look at them. It's definitely a really interesting and unique rule set in many, many ways.
I'd like to think so. The game itself is a pulp-based conflict at the centre of the earth, and I suppose what you're talking about in relation to the extras and the flavour things that happen and the double trouble encounters, which can occur if you both roll the same number on the dice in the initiation phase. What that does is it occurs, a phase, random phase, which could be, a T-Rex going across the board. It could be the Usurper. We've made the character figures for some of these encounters, which enter the board and have specific features that come into play. So it's got that going for it in relation to that. It's got, a fast-paced turn sequence, and that's sort of where the fun in the game lies. You use your bolts to protect your boss, and your boss has an array of features that you can use, relics and tricks, I believe they're called.
That was one of the things I liked, was the tricks.
Yeah, they can cast those, and it's it's very situational as to which you would choose to cast, or if you want to be offensive, defensive, or if you a lot of them are meta in the sense it could be raising a mood from a body even from the dead. If you're the simians, I believe it's called monkey paw, that one. So there are these very pulp flavoursome things instilled in the game, and we built it around that rather than having a vanilla game and building it, adding these things in.
I mean, and that's the thing, because at the moment there's so many different companies out. If you just typed in, wargaming, and then you could just even type UK or whichever country you're in, you'll come up with a number of different companies who are all producing small rule sets, core group of models, or websites where you can buy models that are used in those games.
Sure.
But sort of this kind of stood out to us, not just because of the setting, because as I said, I'm really interested in that kind of setting, and sort of all those sort of Journey to the Centre of the Earth and things like that, which sort of movies that I loved as a kid, and big monster movies and those kind of things. But just the rule set itself is something very different, but still it's got that kind of familiar skirmish feel. From the videos I've seen anyway, as I said, because I haven't had a chance to get my hands on the rule book yet, and I certainly will be doing in the next week or so, and putting up some videos on it, because it's one of those things that with a smaller company like that, obviously your miniatures are going to be what attracts people in, but I think a lot of people tend to use the miniatures for other games, and I think they're missing a bit of a treat, from what I can see from the other videos and stuff that you've done on how the gameplay works. And so that's why I very much wanted to cover it.
Sure.
But so what's next, obviously, for Lucid Eye? Obviously, we touched on a little bit of it earlier when we were talking about that there's another expansion. I think certainly we should elaborate on that.
The other expansion that's coming out for the Savage Core range, what we're looking at doing now, is called Savage Core Night, and there'll be a variety of new creatures and beasties which will follow suit. We're looking at releasing a new faction which is called the Nightkin, which is sort of almost hobgoblin-esque creatures with wings and whatnot. So it's taking a very fantasy stance. But as was it Burroughs? With Journey to the Centre of the Earth, whereby it started with very sort of tame, primitive based stuff, and then sort of expanded as it did in the narrative, where it got more fantastical and whatnot. And we're sort of not necessarily replicating that, but definitely taking inspiration from that sort of narrative, whereby it expanded into sort of more fantasy-based elements, as it did, I guess, with Savage Core started very pulp themed. With Age of Ice, it took more of a fantasy turn, but still kept those pulp elements. And we'd like to keep that feel with Savage Core Night, which is what we're aiming to do.
Yeah, of course, because the id are very different in terms of how they look from some of the more. I mean, because obviously apes and stuff, Neanderthals, they do exist. Or did. I'm not saying we've still got it, although certain parts of the northeast, Neanderthals might still exist. But the id are very, very different, aren't they? They have sort of a very unique look to them. And were they the last things you released for Savage Core?
No. The last things we released, the id were, I believe, the last of the Savage Core base range. Then it was Savage Core Age of Ice.
Yes, the Age of Ice stuff.
We released the faction bosses for Savage Core Age of Ice. Then I believe we released the Amazons, the new Ice Age Amazons. Then we actually went on to doing Project Sturm and the Corlocks, keeping that sort of pulp-esque theme.
Yes.
Yes, and then we released a set of character figures, I believe. We've got Baal the Crow, Captain of the Atlantean Reavers. We've got Bahira the Hurt. Is it Bahira the Hurt? Which, should be. Who's sort of a Neanderthal Crow crossover. So we've released a set of Age of Ice figures which have come directly after, and we're aiming to. I say aiming. We will replicate that formula with the Savage Core Night, which will prove to be the second expansion, as it was for Savage Core.
So I can definitely be looking at getting some more simians then, I assume.
it's not been more Simian-based releases in Savage Core Night. They might fall under a different, slightly category. They might be slightly different, but there might be some more
enough to keep me interested.
Yes.
But no, because obviously it's the main range for the Simians, and then you've got Vim the Mad, which is a gorgeous sculpt. And so I'm eagerly awaiting more, but obviously there's so many different races, and like you said, it is just your father sculpting them. So I can't really complain. There's a lot for each range, considering you aren't like a 3 or 4 year down the line company.
Yeah, we try and focus primarily. We've established our ranges, as it were, and we try and focus on each one and tend to it individually. So we're not looking to neglect a range.
Of course.
So there will be, provided with releases and whatnot, and character figures and all these sorts of things. So yeah, I mean, with Savage Core, obviously Elf King's taking the front seat at the moment, but we're looking to, with Savage Core 9, have a new expansion for it, and with that follows, a whole new line of miniatures as well.
That's brilliant. And like you said, it's all the miniatures and then the rules afterwards?
Yeah, we like to work in that fashion, because, well, there's a number of reasons, but namely, basically, people like to collect miniatures, people like to paint miniatures, people like to use miniatures, so you're not only, I guess, missing out on sales, you're missing out on providing individuals who aren't, actual gamers with your miniatures. So naturally, we like to release the set of miniatures and then release a game system for them. And by then, you already have, interest in relation to what the miniatures, and people want a system for them. So it's providing that system when there's a demand for the system as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I started from sort of a Games Workshop background, not only in terms of my miniature collecting, but obviously I worked for Games Workshop for a number of years. But one thing that always used to frustrate me was you'd get an army book and there'd be a profile for a model, and then you would maybe never get a model for it. Maybe 2 years down the line you would. It would vary dependent on whether that particular race, like if you were Bretonians in their fantasy range, you were never getting anything. And it's really frustrating. So to have it the other way around, where you get the models and you've bought them and you've painted them and you're just like, I can't wait to get rules to play with these. I can see that being a big draw.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess they were working on the premise whereby if there was demand, they would, make the model.
Of course.
We sort of tend to try and create the demand with the miniatures. That's sort of what we've felt has worked. And we are following, that formula because it works for us.
Of course.
But, it might work different for everyone else, but that's how we found it works at the moment.
I mean, just from I can only speak from my own personal point of view, but I wouldn't even know there was a rule system for it if I didn't play Crooked Dice's 7TV and saw those models and thought they would be perfect for what I want to do.
Sure.
And then it just so happened that Carl said, here's their website, have a look at them. I've gone and had a look and thought, oh my goodness, there's a rule set around these models. I can definitely sort of see where you're coming from with regards to it. So we've got...
Yeah, it provides a nice entry point.
Absolutely. So do we have any other... Obviously, you've said Elf King's priority, then you've got some more Savage Core stuff. Do you have any new games that are in development at the moment? Any sort of sneak peek stuff? Or...
Yeah, our ranges, we have 5 ranges, so the Beast of Birchwood, Treasures from the Cosmic Vault, the Red Book of the Elf King, Savage Core, and the Plot Device. Each of those ranges are and will be tended to, so naturally we're sort of, we've got some relatively exciting news for, I say relatively exciting news for Treasures from the Cosmic Vault. I can't really reveal that yet, but what I can tell you is it is being worked on currently. Nice,
because I mean, I've been going through the website, A, as we've been talking, and B, just, it's not the first time I've been on this website. I've travelled to it quite a bit. And I noticed, obviously, with Cosmic Vault, there's just the one on the site, so it was something that I've kind of potted in. And I guess it fits in exactly with what you were saying before, where because there isn't the model range there, I kind of just skipped out of it. Even if there had been like here's a PDF of some rules, I probably wouldn't have cared that much. So it fits in exactly with what you were saying before. And then with the beast, the models in there are really cool. But again, there's only sort of 4 or 5, isn't there? The sleeping hare being my particular favourite.
Yes. I mean, when we have a period of concentration on a range, it will dramatically increase, and it's important to have that. We wanted to at least release one figure for each range, just to establish that the range was there.
Yes.
So people would, be interested in even the concept and whatnot, and then build on it from there. Treasure from the Cosmic Vault acts as sort of exotic combatants coming to, I believe, Titan, whereby gladiatorial combat is ensuing from champions hailing from different moons and different places within the cosmos. So that's the whole sort of IP of that game. It's very 50 science fantasy based, so that will come through as the miniatures line increases.
Of course.
But we're working on that game currently, and we look very excited to naturally increase the inventory for that. Beast of Virtue is going to be sort of a Victorian-esque dreamscape horror. It's going to be more of a narrative-based game, so more of a board sort of game in that regard. But we're looking to, release and increase that inventory over time as well.
I've just found out from Plot Device that's where the Dapper Monkey comes from.
And of course, Plot Device, yes.
Yeah, I've got the Dapper Monkey from Crooked, and I was going to use it as a VIP. And obviously I knew it was from your range, but I'd never seen it on the website. And it's just as I've been talking and clicked through each one, so sort of as we're discussing them, I can have some reference for what you speaking about. And then I clicked on Plot Device, and there he is. That dapper little monkey, so I'm very interested in hearing a little bit more about Plot Device.
Yeah, so the Plot Device sort of acts as an alternate history. It's sort of a 70s pseudo golden age based platform, and what comes from that is a range of sort of more bizarre based miniatures, more spy-fi based to a point. Miniatures which will have a game system for it as well. We're looking to come back to that as well after Elf King. So that game will be a miniature based game as well, yes.
Perfect. So, I mean, obviously you can't give me timescales and you can't give me any spoilers, but have you got kind of an order in mind of what you're working on once Elf King's done and then you go back to the Savage Core? Do you kind of know the order the next 3 are going to be looked at in, or is it at this moment just kind of concentrate on those first 2?
Given we've sort of been going 5, pushing 6 months now, what we'll do is we will naturally treat each of the ranges. Probably there won't be a specific time scale.
Yeah.
What we'll do is after the Elf King launch, we'll look at what we need, and we'll obviously keep because we've got stuff planned for the Elf King immediately after release as well. But we'll look at the lines and we'll see where we can go and where it would be most suitable to go with each one and which direction we'll take them in. So we'll have sort of a period of, not a period, it'll probably take a day or an afternoon or an hour just to sit down and talk about what we, which direction we want to go in with the ranges. So yeah, they'll all be dealt with in their own time frame, but they'll all be consistently dealt with, yes.
Perfect. I think at this stage I've probably badgered you and got as much out of you as I think I can.
That's fine.
But this is definitely, hopefully anyway, it's not the last time we speak with regards to the miniature ranges. We're definitely going to be covering this a lot more. As I said, the next thing we've got is going to be a look at the rulebook and the Amazon range. And that'll be just a case of waiting for Alan to sort of pick the models that he wants, and then I get to paint them. The joys of being the only painter on our channel. Which I guess you know this as well. You do everything else. And then your dad's got the sculpting. That's my job. I do everything. And then Alan turns up and films. And it works for us. But definitely it's not going to be the last time we have a chat about some of these different things.
Happy to talk about it anytime you want, Kev.
That's brilliant. You're going to keep me hopefully updated on release dates and stuff as things come, and maybe we can get some like breaking news is out so we can let people know when new stuff's coming out.
Sure, just contact me whenever and just, I'll give you an update on what's happening.
That's brilliant. I mean, you guys are really good though with regards to your Facebook. I think the last sort of couple of days new stuff's gone up. Or I see there's a lot of stuff going on your Facebook with regards to... That was how I saw that you might be sort of compiling everything from Savage Core, which is why I wanted to ask you about it.
We have groups for each of our ranges, so if you drop into any of those groups, we'll update you specifically on what's going on for that range as well. And obviously our page will just give us general news as well.
Of course it does, yeah. And I mean, obviously you guys have got a YouTube, and that's where I saw your video, but you don't really use it in terms of sort of the promotion side of things, do you?
The YouTube channel, we'll look at when the Elf King release is doing something for that, but it just gives us the platform if we need to or want to give content in that regard.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I said I found it really helpful with regards to that specific watching the playthrough of Savage Core, because it gave me sort of the idea in mind that I would want to purchase the rulebook for it, so it was really handy. But I think YouTube's kind of dying away for some of those kind of things, unless you're one of the really big content creators like your Beasts of War and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think it's important promotion wise, but I think it runs in line with what you do as a business model.
Yes.
For us, because releases come thick and fast, it's not necessarily the best platform, and we can't donate a huge amount of time to creating content for YouTube. But each their own. I'm sure. Obviously it is great for you guys, and it's great for a vast number of people, businesses, and entities, and otherwise. But for us, it's something we can go to and use when we need to deliver that sort of content. Of
course. No, I'm certainly of the opinion that I think it works better for content creators than it does necessarily for companies. And like this, you can have one chat with me, and then I can do all the sort of that legwork side of it. Whereas otherwise you'd have to record the video, you'd have to then put it up, and then you'd have to be distributing it out and sending links, etc. So I can completely see why, as a company, I wouldn't necessarily want to do that, as well as talking to retailers and designing new rule sets and the million other jobs you probably have to do on any daily basis. But I'm definitely going to leave it there for now, because we've been talking a good 45 minutes.
Awesome.
But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. There's some stuff I didn't already know. There's some stuff that's got me really interested for some of the other games that are listed on there that when I clicked on before was just one or two models, so I thought nothing of it. And definitely I think Plot Device looks like something I'd be really, really interested in. But it's been a genuine pleasure, and thank you very much for taking the time, because like you said, you do a million other jobs. So to take nearly an hour out of your day is obviously magical.
It's been a pleasure, Kev, honestly. And is it okay if I just add something?
Oh God, yeah, drop in anything you want to drop in.
No, I was just basically going to drop in. We are looking to do a pre-release for the Elf King and whatnot very soon. So if there's any bricks and mortar stores or retailers out there who are listening and are interested, even in relation to any of the other ranges I've talked about, drop me an email at contact@lucidpublications.com, as we're looking to build a relationship with retailers in that respect. So.
Oh no, that's brilliant, and that's certainly something. If you are watching this and you've seen any of the other stuff we do, and you think I'm not really one for ordering from the internet, or I want to be able to get it in my local bricks and mortar store, just if anybody watches this, when they go in their local bricks and mortar store, get them to just contact you, and I'll put all the links, as I always do, in the description below.
Appreciate that.
And that way, Tim, who lives in the outer end of nowhere and he hates getting things sent from the post, he can go to his local bricks and mortar store and say, I've heard on the internet from that weird short guy that you can get these products in, and then they can contact you with regards to it. But no, we're very much, and if you watch any of our other videos, we do tend to say go to your local bricks and mortar store. So
that's
to
fantastic,
have a company that are like, we want to go to bricks and mortar stores is a brilliant thing.
we want you to go to bricks and mortar stores. So, you know, we're looking to build relationships with your bricks and mortar stores and make sure we can get you the product. Is it something we'd love to do, and we'd love to see their store flourishing from it. We'd love to see you getting your products from them. So, you know, make sure to get them to drop me a line, or vice versa.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your time today. You get back to no doubt promoting, sorting stuff out, and as we get new videos up, obviously as we always do, we'll send you a link to show that it's up, and you guys can watch it and promote it as you see fit.
That'd be great.
And this should be going up around midweek. It's sort of Friday now, so realistically, you're looking at around about sort of the 20th, maybe a bit before, but I'll let you know.
To me whenever, I'm happy to share it and whatnot, and promote it as we can.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time. You have a great weekend, man, and
Thanks,
take care.
You too. Thanks everyone listening. Cheers.
Bye now. Right, guys, so as you heard, that was Joe, one of Lucid publications. You've heard me talk about them a load. Like he said, if you want this in your bricks and mortar store, you want to see the other games that they do in your local store, the email will be in the description below. If you get your local bricks and mortar store to drop them an email, they can sort it all out. But as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Go check out their website. Check out the rest of our videos on some of their on the playthroughs and stuff that we're going to do. And thank you guys very much for watching. As always, pray the dice gods hope they smile upon you, and take care. Bye, guys.